a bra. Stick them between the breasts. So this is madness. It's bad enough when you wear slacks and pants and you put it in your pocket. Now it's near your sex organ, whether you're a man or woman. And this is why I'm saying the radiation dangers, as we're going to talk about, are increasing. And so the little things that you can do, which are big things because everybody's using a cell phone, people are still eating microwave food, they're still using a laptop, they're still looking at their timepieces, or they're still using the mobile phones. At least do something to protect yourself from that radiation, because once your body cells start to mutate and become free radicals, it doesn't matter what the cause was. Now you got cancer, now you got tumors, now you got fibroids, now you got swollen prostate, and it can all be avoided. So I'm throwing out that sign. They even had a new thing out called S4, which is interesting. This is a new thing they're going to introduce probably in the next 60 days that will operate by your eye movement. Now, if you're looking at something and now the camera is going to work, or you can shift from one site to another, you know what that's going to do to your eyes. And I'm always conscious of that because, when I was poisoned, I almost lost my eyesight. And what I have left, I have to protect. This is madness. And people are still going around naively, doing everything with these smartphones and everything with these gadgets without doing anything to put a diode on it and protect themselves. To me, it's madness. I can't even understand it.
Well, of course, you're a metaphysician, so you see more than we do. But Doctor, let me give out this number so folks who have questions can reach you. 800-450-7876. That's 800-450-7876. Or you can hit me up on Facebook and Twitter at carlnelsonshow.com. Dr. Blair, let's talk about the microwave oven, because everybody's got one. You've got them on the jobs now. And I understand that when they first came out, they were really leaking RF and radiation. But they say they've improved on them now. So what's the status now?
Yeah,
They're still that bad?
They've improved on it. If they work, they're radioactive. They call it again. You know what they used to call them? Radiation ovens. That's what they used to call them. Then I guess they said, if you say radiation oven, some people might begin to think and use their brains. So we have to call them microwave ovens. Microwaves are they run millions of what they call ions per second. They have a klystron tube in that daggone thing, and they have an interlock. The interlock is supposed to make it safe. Let me give you I don't care what they're saying. Here is your biggest feature. If it works, your food is hot. If your food is hot, it's radioactive. When it cools off, the radiation is dissipating. Is there anything more to say? That's why you use them, and you're eating raw radiation from those ovens.
So you're saying if you have to use them, at least wait till the food gets cool?
Yeah. Then it's dissipating. Yeah. No, they don't want the cold food. They got it frozen anyway. That's why they're good. Even the popcorn, the kernel is there. In fact, the same thing you could do in the microwave oven. If you put 4 cell phones together and put a popcorn kernel in the middle, it'll pop it. So that just lets you know again, no, they can't improve it because the method is crazy in the first place to have that kind of radiation to make something get hot. It's a klystron tube in that daggone thing. So the very function of it is dangerous. So again,
what are the alternatives then? Because folks are going to say, well, what's the alternative, Dr. Blair? How can we, we've got to get some grub. And it's cold or it's frozen and we need to, get it warm fast. Is there an alternative that's safe?
Yes. Put an all-purpose diode on the back of that thing, the chassis, the housing, wherever you see the wire that comes out of the back that leads to your electrical outlet. Put it right in the back of the microwave oven if you can get to it. If you can't, leave the daggone thing alone. It's not worth it. Put one right next. If you're going to use it, get an all-purpose diode, unpeel it, put it on the back behind where your microwave oven is, if you can get to the housing, and right next to where the wire is going to plug into your wall, you put it right by the back of that. And if necessary, put 2 up there. 1 should do it. But again, it's just a matter, if you don't do anything, all you're doing is asking for trouble. Then wonder when trouble comes and radiation comes and you start spending hundreds and thousands of dollars for surgery and stuff and cancer, then you wonder how it got there. There's one thing you can stop.
Well, explain to us how the diode, how do they work? Do they block it? Do they absorb it? How?
The diodes, now here's, pardon me, I've been talking so much. The diodes have to understand, it is not an electronic two-way pulse rectifier. It's not an emitter, I guess, but we're not talking about electronic diodes, folks, you engineers and stuff. We're talking about a passive receptor that changes things from one vibration to another vibration. It's a whole different ballgame. It's called a diode. So when you have that on there, it's changing things from a frequency, an ELF wave. The thing to remember is ELF, like you see these little ELFs, extra low frequency.
Hang on a sec, Doc, because we've got to take a break for traffic and weather. I'll let you finish explaining on the other side. Folks, you too can join the conversation with Dr. Delbert Blair from the Meta Center in Chicago, 800-450-7876. We'll take your calls in about 2.5 minutes. Blair and in his presentation this weekend in Baltimore. Before the break, Dr. Blair, you were talking about the diodes, so I'm going to let you finish up on that, and then we've got some folks who want to talk to you.
Okay, yeah. Well, this is what I'm saying. These diodes, they come in different things. Either they protect you, as I say, from your computer. They protect you from your laptop. They can protect you from your TV set, both the plasma and the direct. That's another thing, too. They got these big hard drives, and these what do they call these things? These TV sets now, they're so bright. I forget what they call those things now again. Those things are radiating you like mad. They affect you 22 feet away. And that's another thing that's affecting your eyes. It's affecting your hair. Now, the hair is falling out and growing because there's radiation. They sit in front of these things all day long. They're an iota of protection. You put a diode on the back of that daggone TV set itself where the wire, again, comes out of the chassis. Or get you one of the diode pads and sit on it if you're watching. Or even better, get you a diode mattress and sleep on it. So even if you get the radiation, at least you're doing things to help pull the radiation out of your body again. Radiation is everywhere, and it's growing. All the scientists are telling you that the sun is emitting radiation. That's enough right there. But then on top of that one again, it's causing an expansion again of the earth. So the earth is re-radiating you. They're spraying you every day with radiation from the air. My God, it's the one everybody isn't sick. And this is why people are getting shot. They're getting these vaccines. Vaccines aren't going to do anything to protect you from radiation. What can a vaccine do? So this is all I'm saying. The electronic hazard is growing. And as I say, they got these ones that be out in the next 30 to 60 days where you look at this daggone computer, it reads your eyes, and therefore reacts to you. Then you know what's going to be happening to your eyes.
Interesting. 800-450-7876 to speak to Dr. Blair. Anu Nook, I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly, in Pittsburgh.
Yes, Anu Nook, Carl. How you doing,
too. Anu Nook, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, hey Carl. How you doing, brother?
Hey, it's Anu Nook I know in Pittsburgh, right?
Yes, it is, Dr. Blair. How you doing, man?
I'm doing well. Not as good as some people are doing, but better than most. And again, for all those who are trying to stay healthy, you're one of them. I know you know, because you're driving all the time, and you had a diode mattress a long time ago. But at any rate, it's good hearing from you. What's on your mind, man?
Hey, man, I wanted to ask you with all this radiation going on and with the thing from Fukushima, what's the end result of all this? I mean, will we be able to with radiated bodies, will we be able to live longer? I mean, because even with the diodes, are we able to deflect all the radiation with the, the chemtrails and the water from the Pacific Ocean and,
That's one of the things we're going to be talking about on Saturday, and we've got a special thing coming up on Sunday too. But as I say, I got a full weekend. That Fukudemi Daiichi plant just adds to the hell. Earth is becoming just a hell. It's not because the Creator did not make a good planet. It's not because people with souls and spirits. People are letting corporations kill them because they don't understand the dangers of the things that they're making them feel they got to have. You got to have this. You got to have a computer. You got to have all these things. That Fukudemi Daiichi plant, Japan is gone. I said this a year ago, 2 years ago. They'll be heralding as usual because I tell the truth at the beginning. They have to start telling the truth after people begin to wake up. I'm a waker-upper. Fukudemi Daiichi is gone. The plant number 3 is still leaking. 1 and 2 have leaked. All that radiation went into the oceans around there. They started getting starfish, and they stung people. That was 2.5 years ago. The only thing that's got fish, and people want sushi and stuff, the only sushi you can get up there now is from fresh water. Japan's fresh water got polluted because after that hydrogen, that big tsunami hit in, it blew all that radiation back, so it got into the mountains, and that's where the fresh water was. So you can't get anything from the ocean. Now the mountains of Japan are radiated, and the world, they have washing machines and refrigerators washing up on the west coast of the United States. If a washing machine and a refrigerator can get there, you surely know that a radiation molecule got there a long time ago. They're lying about it. They even have now radiation readings along Oregon, all the way down from the coast of California north, all the way down to Baja Bay. Radiation is coming in, folks. You're going to have to get diodes. You're going to have to get some kind of protection that you can. And the last thing you need to do is on a daily basis use these electronic gadgets without some kind of protection on them. It's idiotic.
Okay, Dr. Blair, one last question. You know, since I've been hearing about Region 3 with some type of FEMA action, and since you're down in Baltimore...
There you go. I'm right out here in it. And that's one of the reasons the Creator told me to... I'm sorry, go on.
No, I was just going to ask you, do you notice any difference in... I mean, since you're from Chicago, and that's another region, according to FEMA, and you're in Region 3, and they ship so many meals, MREs and bottled water and so many other emergency measures they're stocking up on for Region 3. Do you notice any difference down there, like any bigger police presence or any type of convoys or anything like that?
I was talking with an aware brother. That's the only one I deal with, aware people. These dumb down people, man, they get me killed, and killed. Yeah, we saw helmeted, big vans, Humvees, all converted. I saw 3 since I was here going down main streets. Never used to see. I still don't see that in Chicago yet. And Chicago is known to be bad. Shoot. No, they're doing it. And this is that. And, of course, again, the radiation readings are still up here. A lot of the snow in some parts of Chicago is still melting. A lot of the snow out here, simply because it's not snow. It's radiation particles with barium in there again. Yeah, I saw them.
All right, Drop. Thanks a lot. Hey, thanks, Carl.
All right, thanks. Explain that region for us, Dr. Blair. What do you mean by that? Because a lot of us are not in Chicago or Baltimore.
Homeland Security has gotten different parts of the United States in regions. And 3 happens to be out at Delaware, Maryland, where I am now, and going on up again. 1 was down there in New Jersey and stuff. I think another was in Chicago. They've got it divided into regions where they're going to be supposedly taking over, or where they're going to get the people even more sicker quicker, because the more radiation, weaken them, be softening up before they can conquer them. Now that gets into, some heavy stuff. That's why I say, now there's a special, if I should go on. For those, okay, let's do this, we put it like this. For those of you who aren't supporters of me in my court battles, trying to take my home, fighting like this again, we got a special thing tomorrow night. So again, if you're not familiar with that one, that's for you guys who have been trying to help us, and we can really drop it. I want to give out a number on that one, because I don't want people getting confused with the number. That number, if you are one of those, or you've been inquiring where am I going to be Friday night, we kind of hush up, because it's not supposed to be for everybody. Everybody isn't ready for this, but it's 815-852-1100. 815-852-1100. 815-852-1100. That's tomorrow night only. The one, of course, on Saturday, I'm going to be speaking even more and more toward it. But the whole point is that's one of the regions that they want to control. And they've divided it up into regions of control, fast and furious. And that's interesting, too. The guy that was killed that had fast and furious, they don't tell you the real reason why he did that is because he believed in trying to help the poor people. And he found out that the food that they were sending to Philippines and all like this had poisons in them, had toxins in them. And he hit the ceiling. When he hit the ceiling, they hit his car.
Wow. Because, I've heard that when meat expires in the supermarkets, they ship them off to places like Haiti.
There you go. There you go. And isn't it interesting that with all the billions of dollars through the Red Cross and everything else sent to the Haitians, they still living in tents, some of them out on the sand? What happened to all that money? Who got all that money? Why are those people out there suffering like that? Why are those children out there emaciated? Man, I tell you, there's so much evil on this planet. You got to be smart and good. If the good people can't keep their bodies together and their minds together, we lost. And this is why I'm saying, stop all these daggone radiation devices. And if you think you have to have them, put $50 on it. Do something, because what is your life worth? What is it when you get cancer and tumors, or you start getting uterine fibroids, or you get a prostate trouble so you can't make love? What good is it? If you're going to get the bad, then take the good thing to nullify the bad.
You mentioned Haiti. Dr. Ron Daniels is down in Haiti because a lot of people are asking the same question. What happened to all the money? Folks are still, this was 4 years after the earthquake, and people are still living in tents. So what, we come up on a break. When we come back, people are asking me on Facebook and Twitter how they can get diodes. So when we come back, you'll tell them how to do that. 800-450-7876 is the number to call. You got any questions, anything metaphysical? This is the man you need to pose a question to, Dr. Delbert Blair. By the way, Dick Gregory is going to join us later as well. Also, Dr. Ben Chavis is going to stop by, and Cola Booth is going to be an interesting conversation coming up in a few days as well. 800-450-7876, number to call. Speak to Dr. Blair. We'll take your calls in about 2.5 minutes.
Washington, D.C.'s 1450.
1450 WOL Radio.
Yeah, thank you for staying with us. And our guest, Dr. Delbert Blair from the Meta Center in Chicago. As you mentioned, he's going to be in the Baltimore area on Friday and Saturday. We'll tell you more about that. But Dr. Blair, before the break, people were texting and wanted to know where they can get the diodes.
Yeah, you can call 708-422-6685, 708-422-6685. If you're in the immediate area, you can call 708-828-4360, 708-828-4360, or you can go to our website, www.themetacenter2.com. I'll go through that once more. Metacenter, METACENTER, just push the number 2, don't spell it out, .com. We've got all the products listed up there. All you have to do is scroll through. Also have our itinerary up there. And in fact, as I tell you again, I have over 100 different DVD, CDs, and stuff like that. All those that they stole from me, we've now recollected, plus we got some new ones releasing. So now you don't have to go to YouTube just to get me. You can go directly to my site. And also, too, you mentioned the name, Brother Gregory. In fact, tell Brother Gregory I no longer have his number. If he still wants me to stay in touch with him, he was one of the first ones to buy the diodes way back when. If you ask him, he'll tell you. He bought the diode mattress. He bought the diode pad. He swears by them. When he travels, just like me, we carry the diodes because you've learned, again, this radiation is everywhere. You go outside, you're eating radiated fish. You go outside, you're getting radiated coffee from the urines in your microwave oven. If you don't do something to protect yourself, nobody else is. If you got the money to buy it, please have enough faith in yourself, your family, love for your own body, your eyes, your hearing, to do something about it. That's what diodes would do.
Okay. Yeah, Greg's going to join us at the top of the hour. But Dr. Blair, I got a tweet from Ed. He wants to ask you a question about the diseased animals being approved for consumption. And Dr. B touched on this a little bit, but he talked about when the government shut down and nobody's inspecting the food coming in. Well, Ed says that the federal agency overseeing food inspections is imposing new rules. They're reclassifying as safe for human consumption animal carcasses with cancers, tumors, and open sores. And he sent me some stuff got it on my Facebook, so you folks can check it out. And Ed wants to know if you know anything about that.
Sure. They got everything coming in here nowadays. We're a dumpster. We're a dumping ground, if you want to or not. Add to that, since my people love hair, and I'm saying my people, we love hair. All women like hair. All men like hair. They're now getting these wigs, and many of the wigs have been taken from they're dead bodies. And they take them out, and they're full of worms and things. They put them on their head, and the worms attach. A lot of people now are getting not just head lice, but their brains are being eaten up by worms. At least make sure either it's artificial or they're just coming from a non-dead cadaver. They're genetically modifying everything. I said before this show a long time ago, Monsanto runs your Congress. Monsanto is the biggest chemical maker they got. They have now, in Monsanto, they control Whole Foods. And so now, even if you think, well, at least I'm not radiation, but I do eat good foods, you don't even know if you're getting good foods. Because now Whole Foods, controlled by Monsanto, has good things, organic, and some things that are not organic. You better read closely. This is why I'm saying this is time when people have got to wake up and protect yourself. The corporations have taken over. The corporations don't give a blank about you. They want your money. They want to control the system. And as you can already see again, this whole planet, that's what we're going to be getting into Saturday, too, when they come out. And then we had another special thing. As I say, I got a lot of special things going. Different grades of people Some people are awakened. Some people are dumbed down, comatose, brainwashed, inoculated, vaccinated, encrypted. I have no time for dumb people now because they are horrible. But if you are ignorant, that's one thing. I'm ignorant on a lot of things. I'm giving you some schooling up lessons. Do something for self. If you don't love yourself, who will?
And another tweet question here from Cheryl. She wants to know about the relationship or the link between females doing their hair, getting their hair done, processed, or whatever they the weave or whatever they do with their hair, and fibroids. Is there a connection there, Dr.
Well, I just told you the biggest connection. Most of the interweaves are coming from places the women have long black hair. Okay, that's cool, but not really cool any longer because now, since they have such a markup value again, like I say, they're taking hair off of a dead person, a cadaver. The thing's got all kind of germs and worms. They're putting it on you and it's crawling into your scalp. If you got to get at least artificial hair, or make sure you know your hair dealers. The more it costs you, the better it is. Not always the case. This is a whole problem. You know, what can I tell you? This is what's happening. And in addition to which, when you're watching the TV and it's above you, or you're even going into, shoot, I don't even want to add this stuff, but the TV rains down radiation and it's coming into your head because in most cases, if you go to hotels and places like that, it's higher. If you're on the same level, it's radiating your eyes. We're using this all the time. Then you're up there talking on a cell phone while you're watching that. You got your computer. You might be taking some notes. Then you get through with that and you look at your watch, which has a radiation dial in there and a chip in that one. It goes on and on. Get some diodes. Get something to help yourself wake up.
So, what, for the sisters with the hair, what advice would you have for them?
Well, one thing, put the hair on a diode pad, okay, a diode plaque or a diode pad, okay. That will kill and process some things out. But the biggest thing is, again, make sure you know what you're doing. If you're going to use a weave, then get you a weave, hopefully from a person that's reputable. I don't know what to tell you. If you're going to use it, you're always going to take a chance.
All right, 800-450-7876. That's 800-450-7876. Number to call to speak to our guest, Dr. Delbert Blair from the Meta Center in Chicago. The tweeters are coming on. They want to know about monatomic gold. What is monatomic gold, Dr. Blair?
Monatomic gold is another one of our products that we sell, and it's needed by everybody because when gold is a product that is somewhat new but always old. It used to be people use silver. And they used that to stop anything that was a natural cough, like cold, fever, and stuff like this, and it worked. It does not work for a virus. Coughs and colds and one thing, natural things. A virus is man-made, and silver isn't going to do a thing by that. You need gold. And now the gold parts we have one called colloidal defense. It has silver, silica, and gold. So if you've got a natural thing, you got the silver already in it. If you got an unnatural thing like a virus, and all viruses are unnatural, you're going to have to go to the gold product. In addition to which, we have a gold powder that helps your psychic ability. You take it at night. We have a gold capsule that helps your cells to function faster and more efficiently. We have a gold liquid that does the same thing. We had on sale for the longest, I think it's a few left, Life Source Super Sprouts. And Life Source Super Sprouts not only has the gold Artura, and Artura gold helps to think more, it alters your thoughts to higher processing, but it has barley grass, wheat grass, chlorella, spirulina, good spirulina, not the ones that are all radiated. So all of these things can now be purchased if you want them. And the reason why they call it mono, again, most nutraceuticals, as well as pharmaceuticals are all the ones that are synthetic. Every pharmaceutical is synthetic. Nutraceuticals are herbals and natural things, seeds and things like this. Either an allopath who believes in the pharmaceuticals, and a homeopath that believes in the nutraceuticals, they'll all understand one thing, that the thing that is small gets into your body faster. So you have what is called a liquid. They both understand if you drink a liquid, it gets into your system very fast. They have something that's called ionic. That's smaller than that. And when you have ions, that means whatever substance, like our Miracle 2000 and Heart Miracle, I know where am I coming up with all of this, it's ionic. Monatomic means as soon as you look at it, it's in you. You spray it, it's in you. So like this. And this is why we have monatomic gold, gets into your body very quickly and helps to raise your standard, helps to raise your defense system, helps your body to absorb the things that are good and get rid of the things that are bad.
Doc, you mentioned earlier about the diodes, and the people have been asking about that, and we'll give out the information again. I'll let Dr. Blair do it before he leaves. But what's the difference between the diodes and a magnet?
A magnet takes away pain, speeds up healing. And as I said before, the magnetic company I was dealing with has been taken over, and I still haven't got a contract with the new one, so I got. But magnets take away pain, speed up healing process. A diode pulls radiation and poisons out of your body. A diode stops poisons, stops radiation from getting into your body. The magnet helps to speed up the healing process of the body's red blood cells again. And I know the guys got all strung out and out of shape because they used to have the male enhancers. But like I say, the company I was dealing with has been sold. There's a lot of corporations taking over these things, and especially these things that I've been dealing with where the people were really, not only did they want to make money, but they wanted to help people. These new corporations now, they're just out to make the money, and I have to watch very closely. But that's the difference. Magnets take away pain and speed up healing. Diodes prevent radiation and move radiation once it's in your body.
All right, we're coming up on a break. And when we come back, I want you to get in more into the magnets and tell us how we can use magnets as well. And of course, I want you to give out the information where folks can get the diodes and the magnets. 800-450-7876, the number to call. Speak to Dr. Blair. I'm going to give you that number again. That's 800-450-7876. When we come back, he'll also tell us where he's going to be in Baltimore this weekend. You can reach Dr. Blair in about 2.5 minutes.
And
now back to the Carl Nelson Show.
On Washington, D.C.'s 1450.
1450 WOL Radio.
And thank you for staying with us and our guest, Dr. Delbert Blair from the Meta Center in Chicago. Dr. Blair, the last time we spoke, you told us about the rhythm, the quickening. Can you explain that to maybe some of our listeners didn't hear, because you came on at the end of last year and you were telling us that the vibrations are changing and that we should be aware of what's going on.
Yeah, let me do this too. Please hold that thought there, Carl. I just had a call from your producer there again. I made a big boo-boo. See, this is what happened, man. I'm getting older, and this is why I need help. I've been fighting and screaming and kicking and screaming for so very long. I gave out a number at the beginning that was wrong, and that was for those who have been supportive again. If they can get a piece of paper or so, it's 410-852-1100. I had said something about some 800 number. It's 410-852-1100. So you have to change the prefix 410, and it just shows you go, man. I've been fighting for so long, and this is why these are the people that have tried to help me fight and stay in court and stay in my building and not get evicted after I was poisoned and all of that. So that's the one we're doing tomorrow night for that. So I had to make that boo-boo, clear up that boo-boo right quickly. 410-852-1100. There is a quickening going on our planet. Our entire solar system, the sun is emitting now radiation in tremendous ergs, okay? They're talking about the sunspot activity. They're talking about coronal mass ejections. That pressure is building up because the sun is releasing energy. The sun is releasing energy because there is a quickening. People can feel that things are changing. They put it Mars in retrograde, and they put this got nothing to do with any of that. Our sun controls our planet. Suns control planets. And our sun is putting out more and more energy. They can't even, the coronal mass ejections are off the erg list. They can't even figure out how much radiation. That's why you're getting volcano eruptions and things along this line. It's putting out more energy because our planet needs that to quicken her energies. And that's why, as a quickened field, this is why they're spraying every day to stop you from getting that sunshine. This is why they're doing all these things, because what that's doing is to bring out the spiritual side, the religious side, if you would, the side of people that is more humble. These are for people with souls. These are people that don't want wars. These are people who want to raise families and want to be loved and want to do this. These monster corporations controlled by monsters, and I won't even go there. You know, we've gotten there deeply, and I will go there, but no need to put it all in the one show. They want you dead. They want you sick. They want you under control. And a planet wants you alive, awakened, and spiritual. That's why they're giving you all these radiation-carrying gadgets, because it tears down your ability to think straight. It tears down your ability to be spiritual. You're so busy fighting to stay alive and getting shot. And by the way, the more shots you take, in most cases, the worse off you're getting. So I'm just saying again, there's a quickening going on. Our planet is going from kindergarten to grad school. And when they get up there again, our arch enemies, you know where I went with that, with these Dracons, they'll be gone. That's why now they're trying to do everything to slow down the ascension and everything to prevent you from ascending and going spiritual and getting near the Creator. They want you to follow the corporations, get sick, fight their battles, pay their money, and die. And that's exactly what it is. Sounds harsh? Come out and hear the lecture. You'll hear even more of that in more detail.
That's right, and we'll tell you more about the lecture coming up. Are you going to talk about chemtrails?
Yeah, chemtrails are being sprayed every day. Chemtrails are for about 4 or 5 reasons. One, to block the sun, because the sun, for people that are sun people, have melanin. For people who want to raise consciousness, the sun is your liberator. Yes, you can get too much sun, but for a person with melanin, it's almost impossible to get too much sun. People say, okay, you told the truth to them. No, because what happens is if you have a pineal gland, the melanin stops at the skin surface because that's what makes you dark. And you just get blacker and blacker and blacker. You might even blister. But it's not going to cause cancer because it's not going to allow you to get into the interstitial, the soft tissue, and so if you would. So, again, it's just a matter of understanding. For people with less sunlight, less of melanin, it means you can take less of the sun also. But what happens is, since you can't block it at the skin, it gets in and causes carcinomas and melanomas within your body itself. And if you're using these gadgets and these cell phones and these TV sets and your computers and these microwave ovens, you're already susceptible, so your chances of getting cancer triples. So I'm saying again, the sun, these chemtrails are up there is to block the sun. These chemtrails are up there so they can bounce signals off of it and give you more radiation. They can also control weather. As I said before, most of this weather we got is not natural weather. When you ever hear of Chicago getting 40 degrees, and I was there, 40 degrees below zero with wind chill factors of 50 and 60. I never felt anything so cold. And why? You think that's natural? No. Russia has Elata. That's the space. This gun or this cannon, this weather-making device. Europe has scattered scalar technology, and the United States has HARP. All that chemtrail up there, not only can you bounce and make weather, not only can you block the sun, but you can also make it dangerous to breathe. And guess what we all have to do every day? Breathe. But when you do barium and aluminum and titanium and now plutonium and cesium, that came from the fictitiously plant, what chance do you have? Everything you could do now to help yourself, you need to be doing yesterday.
Dr. Blair, is there any way that if we can look into the sky, can we see these chemtrails? Are they visible?
Yeah, I have pictures of it, too, that I'm going to be showing at the lecture Saturday. That's one of the things I have. I have pictures of the spaceships. I have pictures of the chemtrails, and it can't be denied. Plus, I can tell you where you can go on your computer. If you go up there with a diode on your computer, you can pull them up yourself. These daggone things are everywhere, and we're breathing them. And, of course, there's one thing everybody has to do, and they won't stop doing. They want to breathe. I didn't say breathe. I said breathe. And breathing can be dangerous to your health. So if you have to breathe, do everything you can to breathe in things that are good and to make your body strong enough to take in all these chemtrails that they're making you breathe every time you breathe. Well, lab rats. And if you think that they do that and they're not telling you, why you think they're going to be selling you or making anything that's going to help you when every day they're spraying you, or every day your municipal government, your city government, your state governments, and your federal government doesn't do anything to stop the chemtrails. In fact, they tell you it's not even up there.
I got a question from Don in Atlanta on tweet. Wants to know about the water. Is the water safe to drink? Because you heard about the water somewhere in North Carolina, but what about the rest of the country?
In fact, I was lecturing in North Carolina and South Carolina last year, and I was telling people about the Keegan water that you should be using, or get you a Berkey machine so you can make your own water. Fluoride is a deadly poison. Fluoridine is a deadly poison. They're using radioactive things in there per se, and fluoride people think is good. They're even picking their babies' teeth with it. Fluoride is a poison, can cause autism and brain loss and brain deterioration. People use it all the time. You cannot drink that tap water. You have to buy your water or get your water-making machine. That's another thing that we get into.
So what does this machine do, this water-making machine?
Different ones do different things. The more you spend, the more application. Some will take out fluoride, some will take out chlorine, fluoride, and the rest of the stuff. Some will take out, of course, some of these things that are in the water supply, dumped in there. It even sometimes nullify radiation, but they have to get really expensive ones to do that. The whole point is, again, most of the stuff is the most damage is fluoride. And the fluorides, again, as I say, can cause brain damage, brain loss, and autism. They don't tell you that.
But isn't that in the water and in the toothpaste as well?
Yep. And that's another bad thing about it. Yes, it's in the daggone toothpaste, and this is why it's bad. And they don't, they tell you to use fluoride. Now, in fact, if anybody comes out Saturday and asks that question, I'll even tell you how it came about in the first place. It's a miracle the way this thing came about to finally wind up with fluoride and making people think it was good. But
so what's the alternative then? If it's in our water and that's in our toothpaste, what's the alternative for us?
Well, you can get toothpaste. I use toothpaste, but it's non-fluoridated. I make sure it's non-fluoridated. It has propolis and myrrh, and in fact, it's a healing process to be propolis and myrrh. Yeah, you can get it, but most people don't know they want fluoridation. They'll ask for fluoridated toothpaste because they've been ignorantly mistaught.
So when buying the toothpaste, what we should look for? As long as it's got fluoride in it, pass on it. Is that what you're saying?
That's what I'm saying. I do. Haven't used it in 6 years. You can get non-fluoridated toothpaste, but you have to ask for it. The one that they say in most of the places is the one that's fluoridated. It's like when you come into most of these drugstores nowadays, I won't give them any name, but, CVS, Walgreens, come. As soon as you walk in the door, if you go get a vaccine, then they'll give you 26% discount off your food you get. Why? Because they love you so much. Yeah? You believe it.
Yeah, well, we run out of time, closely out of time, but tell us about the vaccines. Because this is the season, and it says the flu season.
You're about to cut me off because you're about to go off. Can I tell people where they can come to at the Black Museum? Because I told the people at the museum I would be
go ahead.
There.
We'll let you we'll let you finish up. Don't worry about that.
Oh, okay. Well, then don't
worry about that. We got Gregory coming up next. He won't mind a couple of minutes, so don't worry about it. I tell you what, we got to take a break right now. So when we come back, we'll let you finish up, and we'll also speak to Dick Gregory.
Okay.
Folks, 800-450-7876 is the number to call. Keep that number handy. You're going to need that number in the next few days as well. Our guest is Dr. Delbert Blair. As you mentioned, we've got a break coming up, and when we come back with Dr. Blair. We'll also speak with Dick Gregory. Also, you can reach us on Facebook and Twitter. Many of you already have at carlnelsonshow.com. Take your calls in about 2.5 minutes.
Welcome to the Carl Nelson Show
on Washington, D.C.'s 1450 WOL radio and live around the world on WOLDCnews.com.
And thank you for staying with us, folks. Coming up, we're going to speak with Dick Gregory. Greg, are you there? I'm sure Dick Gregory's there somewhere.
I'm here.
All right, good. Hang on a second. Dr. Blair's here too, and he's just ramping up. He's going to be in Baltimore this weekend.
Who is that?
Dr. Blair.
Oh,
Dr. Delbert Blair.
Yes. What a brain. What a brain.
Yes. Dr. Blair.
Yes.
Yes. Can you tell us where you're going to be this weekend?
Yeah. I'm going to be at the National Great Black and Wax Museum.
Mm-hmm.
It starts at 6 o'clock, and it's located again. Well, let me give a phone number just in case. That number there is 443-762-4762. 443-762-4762. And the Black and Wax Museum is at 1601 East North Avenue. That's in Baltimore. And, of course, that's at the Hartford Road and Broadway. Hartford Road and Broadway. If you get that or so, then that's the number, 443-762-4762. We'll be starting it at 6 o'clock and going on and on. And
What day?
The date is this coming Saturday. What's the Saturday? The 21st? No. What is it Saturday?
The Saturday would be
18th.
the 18th.
Yeah. Well, that's when it's going to be, the 18th. Is this Dick?
Yeah, brother. God bless.
Yeah, man. I no longer have your number, and I was telling folks you bought the first things when it came out, you bought diodes. Yes, sir.
Yeah, thank you, man. Just thank you for being out there with all the, not just the diodes, all the other stuff about the universe.
It's out there.
They don't tell us about.
Yeah, it's out there, that's for sure. Yeah.
All right, Doc, I'll get you Greg's number for you later on.
All right, I appreciate that, and thank you very much again. As I say again, if the folks can come out Saturday, it's from 6 o'clock until the number 443-762-4762. And Dick, we got to talk, man, because I know you got some information I don't have about some subject over in Africa that I know you know about. So please leave that number.
Okay, got you.
All right, I'll get that number for you, Doc.
Great, best.
All righty. Welcome back, Dick Gregory, to WOL.
Thank you, my brother. Thank you for this new year. And and what you're putting out there. And, you know, it's so interesting that the whole vibration of the mind been shifted. And there's so much information out there now. I mean, they trick it, but there's still enough out there, you know. And when we stop and think about the information that's come out from Snowden, from all the secret stuff that's been going on, well, and then you realize they upset, but not too upset, because they've been bugging every American's telephone since the early 60s. But we live in a country that the leadership, and I'm not talking about the power, the leadership is so evil that it's hard for just honest, working people to believe it. Your car's been bugged for 30 years. So if you're sitting in the car talking about reefers and different things, they hear it. They know what it is. And yet, Americans, I mean, when you look at the stuff we do to other people, I mean, you look at the investigation of the military raping military women and men. So what do you think they do in the foreign women, foreign countries, huh? What do you think that's about? I mean, if you're going to rape a woman, which is, you know, that's in the nature, if you reach to that thing. But if a comrade of yours, then what do you think they doing to foreign women in them foreign countries? And so it comes out, and you got NBC, CBS, and they're not going to tell you nothing. They're not going to tell you nothing at all. And so consequently, there's a whole new breed of people, and you one of them, that have access. Because, you know, when you think about Dr. Blair, how many times do you think he could be on NBC, CBS, and ABC? You know, they're going to show you the people they want to show you. And then we don't want to believe how evil and racist and sexist. And the white folks pick their Academy Award, and black folks talking about two different things. What about the butler? What about Oprah? Huh? There's that whole that whole, and they have.
Well, I mean, for a second, it's the Academy Awards. So what happened about Oprah? That's what everybody's saying. What happened about the butler?
Well, she didn't get picked for that, but why are you shocked? You know, why are we shocked? We know where we live in. We want to be. You see, a lot of black folks deal with this country the same way drug addicts and alcohol deal with denial. We want to say, no. I mean, I listen to these talk shows and I listen to black folks. Well, we got to be in business. I mean, business like the CIA don't exist. You look at all these black politicians that go to jail, and it would never dawn on us that that's impossible. Are you telling me every black person that go into politics is a thug? And it's just like it was like. It's like America keeps saying, "Oh, we got this phone. We hear Al Qaeda. We hear them talking." And then, 8 years ago they said, and so we got an alert radio because we hear the chatter. Now you mean to tell me if you got some people who can come into the mightiest country in the world, what the Russians couldn't do, huh? Little punks come in here and blow up one of the biggest buildings in the world. And we said, oh, wait a minute. The Russians can't do that? Huh? The Chinese can't do that? But you got some little snot that's never flown a plane in their life. And then one day, 50 years from now, they'll tell you them training schools they was going to and doing all that in Florida. And nobody said, well, wait a minute. Wait, hold it. All the ones we say is that the NSA, all their secrets been stolen. Carl, if me and you go and break in somebody's house, the first thing the detective's going to do when they get there, say, wait a minute, I wonder how many people was there. Was it just them two we caught? So how can this guy steal the biggest steal in the history of the planet from the top secret thugs in the planet and nobody say, did he do it by himself? How come they're not looking for somebody else? How come they're not saying, he couldn't do this by himself? So then you say, well, wait, what does that mean? You know? And so consequently, and then you get these people, you can't call them ignorant because that's part of American life. They say, well, why didn't he come here and be a whistleblower because he knew he'd be killed? What's the guy that wrote the dirty stuff? Not dirty, it was real. What the general said about Obama in one of the big. I'm talking, you know, the one that he had the general in Paris and they was drinking, and then Obama fired him, and he's talking about what he really felt about Obama, and the guy published it.
Petraeus?
Yeah, Petraeus. Okay? And then he ends up dead. Say his car blew up. No, his car was hit with 2 drones in L.A. Remember that?
Right.
And you think look, all the stuff that people hear on your show, can they be so out of it they don't believe NBC, CBS, and ABC know that? Huh? Or you say, let me think, if somebody got on your show with all them figures and called the president a dirty name or called his mama a dirty name, don't you know they had that on all the networks 5 minutes later? But yet they listen to the show, they tune in to your show, they listen to this, and they say, where are they going? And as long as we are silly enough to talk about, we need to go to Africa. We need great opportunities. Oh, you think the CIA don't know that, so you get to Africa, and all at once they say you died from a drug overdose. Huh? See, we're so naive, we want to believe, that this is going on.
Right, Greg, hang on a second. We got to take a break for traffic and weather. And when we get back, I also want you to talk about Dr. King, because this is Dr. King weekend. And your thoughts on, you know, all these years have gone by and still we haven't come up conclusively who killed Dr. King. 800-450-7876. Number to call, speak to Dick Gregory. It's 800-450-7876. So hit me up on Facebook or Twitter at carlnelsonshow.com. We'll take your calls for Dick Gregory in 2.5 minutes.
And now back to the Carl Nelson Show.
On Washington, D.C.'s 1450.
1450 WOL Radio.
Okay. Thank you for joining us again, folks, or staying with us. 800-450-7876. And I see here we got a report from Darren. It says that reporter Charles Hastings that died. I guess he wants to know information on that. Greg, you familiar with that?
Hastings? No, I'm saying, who did he say? I didn't hear.
Oh, he said that's who died in the explosion. That's the reporter.
Oh, yeah.
You were talking about earlier.
Oh, yes, the white guy. I'm talking about another Charles. Yeah. And he just called his wife and said, I'm on my way home. He said, I've got something to tell you that's going to, blow you away. And some friends even said that. And said he never got home. And then they just said, his car that, exploded. And then they get there. Hey, you got the cops in on it, man. They know when it's hit. They'll get there. And the other cop, let me run something past. Because, see, black folks, they just assume that anything white folks say, about black folks, one after another. How many men have taken women out and just know if I can get her to drink some whiskey? Oh, she goes to the ladies' room, and there, all that to pull their bottle out. How many people put stuff in the drugs? You hear people say, I don't know what got into me last night. So they got stuff they can take you out as a black person to dinner And we so thrilled, and I'm not saying that's negative. They say, here's what we want you to do. First they tell you how bright you are. That's what they try to tell me. Oh, one of the brilliant minds. And well, no, come on now. See, that's where they cover to say the reason the rest, no other black comedian work white nightclub, because they're not as smart as Dick Gregory. All that crap they feed you. And so you out, you politicians, they give you something to drink, something to eat, and all at once, your brain flips. And then you doing things. Or they'll sit you up and make you believe you part of them. Okay? And then they make it humorous. What's the congressman from New Orleans that had the money in his in his freezer?
Right,
You look
I
at
think his name right now.
The Jackson and his wife, was it Johnson, Jack Johnson and his wife that got busted over in Prince George County.
Right.
Look, they walked in and busted him, took his cell phone, and then gave it back to him. And he calls his wife and said, flush the money down there. What did I have for lunch? What did they give me that make me say that in the FBI office walking out? And so when you stop and think about, but we don't think that. It's the dirtiest, filthiest nation. And what makes it so filthy is the people don't know it. We're doing the same thing Hitler and the Nazis did, and people didn't believe it. Let me tell you something. You had German soldiers that in the concentration camp went and told some Jews what they were going to do to them. You know, some of them Jews reported them, and the Nazis was killed. They just couldn't believe. You get so locked into being reduced down to nothing, you can't believe this is going to happen. And so consequently, you look around, you look at Oprah Winfrey, and she wasn't even mentioned, And I know she thought she was going to get mentioned. And we keep doing it and doing it and doing it. Huh? And so, so consequently, you listen and talk about outside. Well, we knew what they're going to do because we've been listening in and we can hear them. You think they stupid enough to keep calling year after year on a line that they know you listening to? And so consequently, you look at it and it happens. And for instance, the lady out in, I remember, that they operated on her daughter to take her tonsils out, and daughter was in a coma.
Right. In California. In
California, they kept saying, "Oh, we go to the judge and get them to say we can pull the plug." And, they want the plug pulled because the operation was carried out by an intern. So let's get rid of all this evidence, huh? Intern, it's a little poor black person in here. So you need training, so you do this, huh? And so now we got to cover up the evidence. If it wasn't for these type of radio shows and people like you, we never would have known the little black brother in Valdosta, Georgia. They found wrapped up in a rug in the gym. We never would have known that he had newspaper. All his organs was gone. And if we know that, you think the FBI and these coroners and stuff don't know it? And so consequently, the football player in Boston that killed the brother and with the Patriots.
Right.
And all the news came out, and you saw him coming out the house handcuffed. Do you know there's a possibility they might not be able to try him? Are you aware of that?
Right. And thanks, Darren. Down in Baltimore, it was John Jefferson, in Louisiana. The congressman was putting the money in the freezer.
Yeah. And the ball player I'm talking about in Boston with the Patriots, okay? There's a possibility he won't be able to be tried because 4 of the witnesses have been murdered. Now, when did you hear about it, huh? When the New York Times printed, huh? Then you got to say, wait a minute, he must be more than a yard football player, huh? Who is he working for? We look at our basketball player that just came back. I don't know if he's back yet. I'm sure he's back. From North Korea.
Oh, Rodman?
Yeah, now listen, first, let me tell you how silly Americans are. Here's a black man that everybody won't think is a buffoon, okay? That country is off limits to Americans, huh? Off limits. So how he go over there and don't get arrested when he come back? But what's meaner than that? You ain't heard the Republicans say anything. That dog king in New York, he ain't opened up his mouth. Who told them to shut up? He's taking a message for the government. Nobody asked where the money come from, what airline carried him over. Can't be an American airline, because American airline can't go in the country, not because of them, because of American government. I remember when I was in Iran during the hostage crisis, and they were talking about, boycott and everything. How was they planes running? Well, what they would do, they would leave Iran and go to Germany. They're still flying. They just can't come to America. So they get the planes fixed there. And so when you stop and think, Quaker Oats and all them folks, they never stopped shipping food to Iran. And yet, when you have people you trust and think, these are the same people, the pharmaceutical company, you listen to what they're saying. And here's the side effect. Your lips might swell up, your ears might get itchy, and possible death, suicide, okay? And we listen and keep doing it instead of saying, wait a minute. And so when you stop and think of how this go down, Malcolm X, we can't just talk about King. Why we don't know who killed Malcolm, okay? When Malcolm X, that great picture when Malcolm shot, right? And he's on the floor, and that brother is kneeling over and giving him mouth to mouth. So when we dig into it and find it, we find out that this guy is a New York undercover cop. So undercover, his check comes from a utility company, not even from the police. And as we talk now, he's CIA agent now, okay? And so we look. Now, here's the important thing, what we looked at. We looked at some black men, somebody threw a smoke bomb in the back of the auditorium. Well, naturally, people sitting there going to run and holler and scream, and they choking. And then these black men ran up to the stage. Now, remember, Malcolm X is on the stage, they down on the floor.
All right. Hold that thought right there, Greg. I'll let you finish up that story on Malcolm on the other side of this break. 7876. That's 800-450-7876. We'll take your calls in about 2.5 minutes.
And now back to the Carl Nelson Show.
On Washington, D.C.'s 1450.
1450 WOL Radio.
And thank you for staying with us, folks. Our guest is social activist Gregory. Number to call to speak to Greg is 800-450-7876. That's 800-450-7876. Or hit me up on Facebook or Twitter at carlnelsonshow.com. Before the break, we were at the Audubon Ballroom, Malcolm's assassination. Greg, I'm going to let you finish up.
And so we're looking at Malcolm on the floor. And so all at once, we got a group that's asking questions. And so the question I'm asking the government is, how come you all have Malcolm's autopsy? That wasn't a federal crime. And so some kind of way we end up with the autopsy. So that means y'all don't have to go to court. Here it is, All the bullets in Malcolm is going down. They standing on the floor shooting up. which means they didn't trust them. They ended up giving them blanks. They didn't even know it. Now, the reason I didn't put that in the book I was just finishing up, because I didn't want them to get out of jail. Yeah, we know they didn't do it. I mean, the CIA have admitted now that 2 weeks before Malcolm gave the speech there, they rented the Ottoman Ballroom, and that's where they went up there and cut the holes in the roof. They even took film of it. Now, the Sunday they assassinated Malcolm, I was just finishing the show, a 2-week engagement in New York. Malcolm called me that morning. No, I was finishing that Sunday night, was my last night. Malcolm called me that morning and said, Brother Greg, I just want to remind you I'm speaking, my speech is the Ottoman Ballroom, and I just want to, just make sure you know. I said, Malcolm, there's no way I'll be there, man. I mean, I'm not going to let this government get 2 for the price of 1. And when I hang up, I'm calling Adam Powell and tell Adam when he finished his service, that when he finished his service, don't go nowhere near the Ottoman Ballroom because they're going to take him out today. Now, let's go back, and for those of you all that have texts and all know how to do all that, there was a time in New York on a Sunday when the cops jumped on some Muslims and beat them up and carried them to the jail, and the word got out, and 10,000 people came to that jail. Not 10,000 Muslims. You know how many people feel good about Muslims that's not Muslims? And the police was nervous and scared, and a call went to the governor. The governor called the president, and the president, I don't think, listen to this, I don't think we can save New York City. Huh? But if you can send the military in here quick, we might be able to save New York State. Huh? You hear me? New York State. Huh? And so Malcolm hadn't got there. And then Malcolm's car pull up, and he jump out and go up to the front. And the cops move back and let him in. And Malcolm raised his hand and said, brothers and sisters, go home. We will take care of this. So go home. Quiet down. And so they leave. The next morning, the New York Times editorial, they told about what Malcolm was able to do and what kind of scene it was about to have. And then they ended the editorial saying no Negro should have that kind of power in America. Well, you know, that's the death note. They had already planned on killing him. So this is what go on, and you get it here. Not enough time, and then we get into the king. You know, we talk about the March on Washington, the March on. You see, what we don't know is white folk don't know us. They try to judge us by their feelings. When I hire white folks to work for me, research and everything, I say, look, you cannot think for me because white folks think with 300 years of white privilege. I'm not talking about after you go to Harvard and Yale. White privilege, and those of you all that look at them shows at nighttime, those police shows, those detectives, and homicides, so you don't see black folks and white folks. They got you convinced you're the one doing all the crime. But look at them, and look how them little thugs fight the police, man. That's in their head. They really believe they free. It's my freedom. Well, the guy got out the car the other day on one of them shows, started shooting at the police. That's what being white is about. And so consequently what happened is that when you look, and so I told one guy, I said, you can't think for me. I don't have white men. Light-complected Negroes got a privilege. Okay? So now when you sit and you look at this, you look at the movies, Dracula, Wolfman, all of that. And then if you don't know the codes, King Kong is not about no gorilla. It's a code of Jack Johnson, the greatest heavyweight. That's when they was going 75 rounds. It's about him and the white ladies. He starts off a gorilla in New York on the Empire State. Now, why would a gorilla go to New York? It ain't no trees, and Lord, no, ain't no bananas. What's the symbol of New York? You know, Madison Square Garden, the boxing capital of the world. And so when you stop and see that, I mean, the Harriet Beecher Stowe that wrote Uncle Tom's Cabin. And there are people out here that know Uncle Tom is not what they say it is. Uncle Tom is a shapeshifter. And if those of y'all that saw the movie Men in Black, when they carried that thing back behind the bus, we had the Mexicans, and he turned into a reptile. Okay? And so we sitting here going through some space, and there are some black folks that know this. And so consequently, when King, we told them, sometimes we get documents that people give us. We know it's real, but you can't because it's stolen stuff. But we talked about it. For so long, the government finally released the military intelligence came into Memphis on March the 28th and left out April the 12th. Now, King is shot April the 4th. The 101 military intelligence, with an army load of folks, was there. They got there ahead of time to set up their stuff, and they stayed till the 12th in case it was somebody else they had to take out. Now, this weekend, you're going to see the balcony, that famous picture where King is on the ground, and there's 5 people standing there pointing up. How did they know it wasn't going to be another shot? Huh? How did they know that wasn't just some redneck, Ku Klux Klan, hating black folks going to take everybody up? How did they know it wasn't going to be another shot? And then the important thing about the thing, King's on the ground. There's nobody down there with him. There's nobody down there covering him up and saying, King, are you all right? Why were they pointing up? Because the shot came from the ground. It lifted him up in the air, and so all of this, huh? And then a cab driver heard, he didn't realize it was a shot. He thought it was a car backfiring. And he got out the cab, and he see this white guy jump over this little 4-foot concrete embankment, turn right, and he followed him. Went to the corner, turned left, and got in a police cruiser. Now the whole world knows by now that King had been shot. So he didn't know. So he went to how big this is. He went and told the press, the cops. 2 days later, they found him dead. We called him, his name was Phillips. We called him cab driver 58. They said he jumped off the bridge because he was so upset about what had happened. He committed suicide. And so they covered up and they covered up and they covered up. And how much did the Nazis do? Nobody, they ain't told nobody what they was doing. You got little petty punks that get caught and go to their grave in jail without confessing. And so this is how it works. And then you grow up hearing this, and then you want to know what's wrong with black people. Well, I tell you what's wrong with black folks. In the history of this planet, recorded records, they never wiped out a whole movement. Okay, when they killed Jesus, man, they didn't kill none of his disciples. They killed King, Whitney Young, one after another, after another, after another. That had never happened before. And then you all wonder what's wrong with the movement, huh? And so again, I'm saying that there's something in here in us that is so big they can't destroy it. And listen, we took on the mightiest nation in the history of the planet and won. Won.
All right, Greg, hold that thought there because we're going to take another break for traffic and weather. When we come back, Charles wants to talk to you. We've got a question for you as well. Folks, you have a question for Dick Gregory on this King weekend as we move into the holiday for Dr. Martin Luther King. The number to call is 800-450-7876. That's 800-450-7876. We'll take your calls in about 2.5 minutes. as a comedian, as a top one, at least the top black entertainer today, playing at the Playboy Club in Chicago. How long did it take you to decide that you were going to give all of that up to follow Dr. King?
That night, look, first. I mean, black folks go to war. The minute they sign up, they run down and sign up. Well, I feel the same way about my family, my black folk liberation as they feel about America. So nobody looked. What's that white boy, the football player that stopped playing pro and went to the army and was killed over there. And then we found out he was killed with friendly fire because he was getting ready to hold a press conference and say he's leaving the army because he didn't think this is what they thought it was. All the tricks he watched, huh? And then it took a year and something to come out before he was killed by his own members, right? And so when you stop and you think of what I did, that's just what NBC and them told you about. And I made right before I hit when I went in the Playboy Club, I made $1,500 the whole year with a wife and a family, huh? And that's kind of tricky because my wife was working at the University of Chicago. She's bringing a big fat check. You know? But a whole lots of people, you know, say, this is what I'm going to do. I'm not talking about the rights. I'm talking about the movement. And then you got a lot of people with entertainment. We're the only people in the world that want to depend on entertainers and athletes for our liberation. Huh? Okay? I hear people talking on the shows, well, look, the athletes need to get together and pool their money together and open up. They're not business people. They've been training through their family and their dad and them to play football and basketball since they was 5. That's all they know. Huh? That's all they know. And so we have reached down to the depths of filth in us and think our liberation, but America's won every war they had. They didn't do it with comics. They didn't with jazz musicians. Huh? And so when Martin called me, you see, I knew the power of the NAACP. Huh? I knew the power of the Urban League in SCLC. I knew when I was in high school, man. In high school, they had convinced black folks that black folks genetically was born by God to do the short races. White folks genetically to do the long races. Now think about this, because it's very important. The long races, okay? And so I would just run. I'd start running at 5 o'clock in the morning on Saturday, and 7 o'clock that night I was still running, huh? It was a pace. You're not out galloping like a horse. It's a pace you set. And so consequently, I got so good, I ended up all black schools in Missouri. I set the world's record in the high school mile, but I didn't get credit for it because I was at the Negro meet. Man, I walked. I was waiting for the information to come out in August. And I waited for that book, and I wasn't in it. I cried, man. I carried it home and had some people read it to me in case I was missing it. Then I go back, and I organized with NAACP, Mr. Wheeler, and say, here's what I'd like to do. I'd like to march on to 3 high schools, Negro high schools, had 3. Sumner, Vashon, Washington Tech. Said, and pull them out of school and march on the Board of Education. And so we started putting it together. Now, they was marching for overcrowded schools. I went to a school named Sumner High School. It was like 150 years old, built for 500 people. I get there in 1948. They hadn't had one brick to the building. We had something like 6,000 people in that building, huh? And now they want to talk about, well, it's good to say, God, y'all got to be brilliant. We had classrooms, man, with 140 people in the class. By the time the teacher ended up checking the roll, the bell had rang. And so we marched and scared them folks so bad because we had the little hoodlums off the street. I mean, I was the hero, man. My brother Greg, so let's use this. And we marched. And let me tell you what the headline was with the major white paper. I mean, powerful paper, the Pulitzer Prize. Well, the guy who owned the St. Louis Post-Dispatch, that's named after him. And here's what the headlines was the next day about this huge march, the biggest march they've ever had in St. Louis by Negroes. And they didn't steal nothing. You believe that? They didn't steal nothing. And then we came back the next day. And that's when the borders, Hickey, old man Hickey, yelled at me, said, "What do you want?" So I want my record to count. And I saw that white man's face change. And he said, "What?" I said, "Yeah." Then he said, "Just a minute." He went and called some folks. Then they called the state legislature, which was out, wasn't in session. And he came back and he said, "Give me 30 minutes, we'll fix it." In 30 minutes, he came back and he said, "Okay, cross country had just been integrated." See, it's the fall, it was September. Cross country just been in. What did they do? State legislature took a vote on the phone, but they were so ignorant they didn't know you can't just integrate cross country and you can't do the other sports. That's how the sports got integrated in St. Louis before you could go to a white school. Now, that's why it's very important that the people coming behind you get to look at you. Who knew that my younger brother, 5 years younger than me, would come through and set the world's record in the high school mile, and it went around the world. Ticker tape, UPS, huh? And so it all came back from, and so I had that in me with watching the NAACP. The NAACP is 100 and some years old. Have you ever thought, and maybe during the King weekend, spend a few minutes thinking about the NAACP, thinking about 107 years ago, what it was like in Mississippi, and they wasn't hiding. See, they wasn't no secret organization. They wasn't hiding. White folks knew who they were. And they did it. They kept on the black church, the black church, the black church. Y'all can sit and laugh at the black preacher if you want to, but the black preachers ain't laughing at you pimps and hoes. Huh? Y'all can keep on. When I look at Stevie Wonder, when that whole thing happened in Florida, and Stevie Wonder didn't have to take no poll. He held a press conference and said, "I'm not working no more dates in Canada." Now, you're talking about a man that's losing millions of dollars. I don't hear nobody call up and say, "Thank you, Stevie." Y'all so busy talking about some black folks, so-and-so is this and so-and-so is that. They never said, "Thank you, Stevie. Thank you, my brother." Huh? When I think about this weekend, the sad part about it is how many of you black folks, how many of you black folks have had your children, don't even want to say it, carried your children to Disneyland to see a rat, but have never carried them to King's grave or King's tomb? Huh? And you wouldn't be able to go to Disneyland in Florida had King not died. Huh? King not died. And thank God there's some young folks coming up. Y'all keep calling where they are. They here. They here. You'd be surprised. You know how many people that listen to these shows like Call that realize there's some black folks, women and men that's doing things that the New York Times will not tell you? One of the fine things that ever happened to move this thing was jet in every magazine, Johnny Johnson. Because before that, nobody knew the progress that black folks, women and men had made, huh? Till you got that book. I remember one time I was in the middle of a revolution in out the country in Africa, and it was horrible, man. Little young cats pulled our bus over and took us off the bus and made us line up. and a sergeant on a bicycle said, Dick Gregory. And everybody stopped. And the little talk, you was like to see 8, 9 years old with these grease guns, man. And he walked over and cussed them out. You know who this man is? And so I said, how do you know? Jeff Never the magazine. We see you, huh? Jeff Never, they didn't see me in the New York Times. Huh? They didn't see me on NBC. And that's what Ebony magazine was doing.
Right, Greg, hold that thought right there. When we come back, we'll definitely have some calls for you. Good. Folks, you got questions, get your questions ready. 800-450-7876. That's 800-450-7876. Or hit me up on Facebook or Twitter, as Dick Gregory's touched everybody that we know, all the way back with Dr. King, athletes, entertainers, and he knows them all. We'll take your calls for Dick Gregory in about 2.5 minutes.
Welcome to the Carl Nelson Show
on Washington, D.C.'s 1450 WOL radio and live around the world on WOLDCnews.com.
Thank you for staying with us, folks, and our guest is Dick Gregory, social activist, and as we move into the King holiday weekend. If you have a question for Greg, it's 800-450-7876. Let's go to line 4. Charles has been holding for a while in D.C. Charles, you have a question for Dick Gregory.
Hello, can you hear me?
On line 4?
Can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead, Charles.
Yes. Thank you, Mr. Nelson, for having Dick Gregory on. And Mr. Gregory, I thank you for all of your work for the black community. You're a true humanitarian, and let me just tell you, I'm 53 years old, and I know you're in your early 80s, so you're like a father to me and to the black community. I just want to thank you first for all of your selfless and sacrificial help for informing the black community as to what's going on, and really not just the black community, but even all of America, because I've been listening to you for years, and you say so much that I can't even keep up, okay? I can't keep up. But let me say, yes, God bless you. I want to say this, that I first heard about you, and I mentioned this before because I spoke to you on Carl Nelson's show a few weeks ago, and I told you that I first heard about you back in the late 70s. I was a freshman in 1979 at Morris College, and there were some student activists who had told me about you, and they had told me about Farrakhan and some other black activists. I never even heard of you guys until I got to college, okay, because I didn't hear about this when I was in high school, about, the things you're saying. But anyway, I noticed that when you talk a lot, you talk about the CIA, and I want to say that I'm glad you're doing that, because ever since I first came across you in college, I was inspired by you and even by Louis Farrakhan to do readings about the history of the CIA. And so I've been reading about them ever since college, so it's been now, I guess, over 30 years.
Right.
And everything that you're saying about them, I would have to say in my own private research, you are correct. They are the major troublemakers of the world. Even when it comes to Africa.
Charles, do us a favor, because we got some other folks who want to talk to Greg as well. Can you put in a question for him so he can respond?
I'm sorry, press for time. I wanted to ask Mr. Gregory this to encourage the audience to do more reading on the CIA, because he had said that, black people today, we've been guilty of reading a lot of trash, watching a whole lot of trash. We need to spend more time, studying the things that...
Let me just say this to you, please.
Yes, I'm listening.
Black folks spend a bigger part of their income for books and magazines than white folks do. See, those are the things that they don't tell us about, and we will assume. When I was a little boy, I'm born in 1932, and I used to hear black folks, some of them, say, black folks are just like a bunch of crabs in a pot of hot water. You ever heard that?
Yes, I have.
Once one gets to the top, what happens?
Pull them back down.
No, that's the hot water that make them do that. See, that one little nasty trick to a head that's been perverted by a bunch of evil white folks will make you think that it's the Negro in me. It's the hot water. Because if you go around places where crabs hang out at the lake and the water, there's no hot water. They're not pulling on one another. Okay?
Yes, sir.
You hear me? And let me just say this to you. The CIA ain't nothing but junior punks, man. Do you know how many CIA agents they kill after they do the dirty work? You saw the Navy SEALs that pulled off the thing with Bin Laden?
Scene till 6.
Huh?
Yes,
Okay.
they killed them all.
Wait.
Dead men tell no tales.
Wait. Hold it, just 1 minute, okay?
Okay.
Bin Laden was killed in December 01, okay?
Yes.
All right?
Yes.
Then you have to ask, what was that trick? And say, well, the president don't know. The president thought that was happening. He didn't know. So now, watch this now. 6 of them went up in the room, Navy SEALs. 5 of them killed first here in America, okay?
Yeah.
Helicopter crash. The 6th one was killed on the rifle range with other Navy SEALs. Target range, blew his brains out, okay? Now, my grandmother don't need to know this. You can. What you need to know this for, huh? They need to read this and read. No, get you a health book and read about your liver and your kidneys. And so what I'm saying is when you look and see, you know, I had Adlai Stevenson, for you young folks. He was the governor of Illinois, brilliant, one of the fine minds in politics. And he was the ambassador to the UN. I'm in San Francisco working the Hungry Hour. And the show was over, and the guy walked up to me and said, Mr. Gregory, it's somebody real important, want to see you. But they in the dressing room. And so I go in, he said, I'm Adlai Stevenson. You look like a homeless person. He hadn't shaved, and shirt's 2 days old he got on. And he said, I need to talk to you, Mr. Gregory. He said, when can we talk? I said, well, I'm through now. I said, no, I got to leave because I got to go to Europe tonight. And I'll be back in Washington, D.C. on Monday. Can we meet Tuesday? And I said, yeah, I'll fly there. And so he left. And then he told me on the way out, he said, I'm fixing to resign as the ambassador to the UN as a protest against the war in Iran. Iran and Vietnam. And so Monday morning, bulletin, Adlai Stevenson is dead. He was walking out the American embassy, and a photographer walked up and said, excuse me, Stephen, I'll take your picture. Now, don't nobody know that was the one who killed him. Okay? This is what this is about, man. This is what this is about. They kill people say, oh, they'll kill Obama. Well, don't they kill white presidents? I mean, they just do it with a little more vision. But, I mean, Abraham Lincoln, look at all the presidents that they killed. And so, again, I'm saying the filth that's involved. And now there's a lot of us who have documents, and we have places we can take them, okay? I had people come to me. I folks come to me, Carl and people who've been listening. When they killed Ron Brown on a plane wreck, the white folks at the Armed Force Institute of Pathology, that did the autopsy brought me the pictures with the bullet in the back of his head. So when I put that out there, they couldn't deny it because the white folks at the Armed Force gave it to me. You got a whole lot of people out here that bring information. You got a whole lot of people out here that's Christians and hate what they have to do, but that's the only way I can pay my bills.
Well, can I say just one more thing?
Yes, please,
I just want to say, a lot of the information that you're talking about, I got through reading books and going on the internet. And one of the examples is like you mentioned about who killed King. It's on the internet that even the lawsuit that the King family filed against the man who killed him, it's a civil lawsuit. The whole transcript is on the internet. You can download it. But I'm just saying this to say that may you tell the audience, I'm not saying it's wrong to read about entertainment, but I think there's a disproportionate amount of time we give to entertainment.
Listen, I'm 80 years old. Okay. I'm honored all over the world for the research, so I got to listen to you tell me.
No, I'm not saying you. I mean the black community as a whole. If you got a daughter or a son that want to be a brain surgeon, then don't tell me my children got to read about brain surgeon. There's enough of us out here. You got a whole lot of stuff, but that's your mentality. That's your whole thing. There's a whole lot of people don't give a damn about that. There's a whole lot of people don't read nothing, want to read nothing but a book. Don't want to read nothing but a sex book. Don't tell them to read this here. That's how you make progress. The Army got the greatest military in the world. Why? Because they don't deal with people that don't want to be soldiers, okay? There's enough of them out there that don't mind killing somebody they don't know. When I think about black folks, and I was part of it, I just wasn't old enough, that didn't go to war because they love America. They went to get GI Bills so they could go to college. What a filthy thing to say to the universal God. I want to get me a degree so I can protect my family and send them to school, and I'm willing to kill or de-kill. What a filthy thing to say. I'm not talking about to the church. I'm talking about to the universal God. Remember one thing, if you don't remember nothing else from this conversation, the dinosaurs. The dinosaurs disappeared off this planet 2 billion years ago. That was before Jesus, Buddha, Muhammad. That was for the Catholic Church, the Baptist Church. Okay? 2 billion years. Now go back then. Okay? And that's
right. Greg, hold that thought there, right there, because we got to take another break. And Charles, thank you for your call.
Okay, thanks a lot.
800-450-7876, the number to call. Speak to Dick Gregory. Or you can hit me up on Facebook and Twitter. Some of you already have with questions for Greg. We'll take your calls as well in about 2.5 minutes.
And now back to the Carl Nelson Show.
On Washington, D.C.'s 1450.
1450 WOL Radio.
And thank you for staying with us, folks. And our guest, the social activist Dick Gregory. The number to call to speak to Dick Gregory is 800-450-7876. That's 800-450-7876. Keep your questions short so we can get as many of our listeners on as possible. Let's go to line 3. Justice is in Vegas. Justice, you have a question for Greg.
Yes, when my mother used to give us the Bahamian diet plan, we knew something about him then. We knew what his thinking was as it related to our bodies. Now, when I call the show and I ask them about the King philosophy and say they should implement that, they don't know anything about that. But, Dick, you said down in Atlanta, they won't even go down there and spend no money. Yeah, our people as a whole should be arrested by the stormtroopers for aiding or abetting the enemy for the destructions of themselves.
You know, that would have been if my mama was alive, she'd be the first one to get arrested.
Yeah, that's right, and they should be.
Yeah, but wait a minute.
We have the resources to eradicate those problems in America today.
It ain't the resources, it's the mind. We pulled off the greatest thing in the history of the planet when the civil rights movement, and we didn't do it with money, okay? We didn't do it with money. It was people out there marching and dying that didn't have no jobs. See, we're all people at the head of everything. Let me tell you about my mother. My mother, if she walked into to your house tonight, she's dead. You would think God just spit her out. She's that precious and beautiful, but if you contrive to convince my mother that Jesus Christ wasn't a Christian, she'd stomp you to death, because she didn't know Christianity never happened to 300 years after Jesus Christ was dead, okay? And so when you sit, my mother worked, man. She worked, you know what Dad was. She worked, and all year long she worked and presented us our Christmas. Man, she had the stuff under the tree and then told me as a white man bought it. Your mother didn't do that, did she? Your father didn't do that, right? You wasn't guilty of that. Well, that's cool. But most of us did, okay? And so all I'm saying is that I didn't worry about you over here or you over here. There was movements. There's a whole lot of people. And you got some Jews that join Jewish organizations. They ain't never liked, but they do it for the unity. That's all I'm saying. I've never sit and talked about this or this over here. I got in the movement. And when King said, hey, man, come on down, I knew I would die. Huh? I knew. I've never been to Mississippi. I heard all the stories about Mississippi. I knew I would die. And nobody could have told me that I'd live to see the day that a black man would become head of the Mississippi State Police, okay? I didn't know that, okay? A black woman would become head of social services, right? When Stennis and Eastman, the two senators down there, got Kennedy, okay, to cut the food stands off to block the voter registration, right? I didn't have to call nobody. I called some folks I knew, and I said, man, I'm fixing to take food to Mississippi. 70 pounds every 2 weeks. 70 tons every 2 weeks. And I need X amount of millions, boy. And we started flying it in. The first Christmas, we had Christmas for Mississippi, huh? A vegetarian don't believe animals should be killed. I carried 20,000 turkeys down there because Grandma and them don't know nothing about no vegetarianism. And got there in the trucks and delivered them. I don't walk around talking about this and you spend your money for this. It's your mentality. When I first hit big, man, the only reason I wasn't on welfare wasn't invented. When I first hit big, I said to my wife, baby, I owe myself and you thousands of dollars worth of treats just to get my head unmessed up, okay? I wasn't worried about buying no damn home. It was the movement. Education without liberation is a damn fool. You can have 12 PhDs and $10 million in the bank tonight and be driving down the street in your Rolls Royce and hear that squad car and you squeeze the steering wheel. You ain't got nothing to do with it. You do that before you think. Then that squad car passed by you and you say, thank God. God ain't had nothing to do with it. He wasn't after you in the first place, okay? It's the mind. It's the mind. And until you can change that, and that's what the movement, that's what these type of shows do, okay? That's what happens. You can change this around. And they can't say the greatest thing about Obama being president got nothing to do with luxuries or giving me this. Go back. He's been in now. He'll be in 8 years when his term is up. Now go back and make believe everybody on this planet is white folks, okay? Everybody. Now let's take all the white folks on the planet 2 years from now when his term is up. They'll be 8 years old, okay? But for the last 7 years, because you don't count the first year, all they've seen on planet Earth is the most powerful human being in the world was a black man. We talking about the mind, not the money. Okay? And then when they had this next election and a white person win, everything, I didn't know a white person could be president. It's the mind, the mind, the mind. Okay? And when we understand that, the changes of the mind, how do you do that? The strongest two forces in the history of the planet of America, the black woman and the black church. And they got all kinds of money and all kinds of education. But this white race is sitting and convinced black women that they ugly. Now, I know y'all going to tell me you not. But if I had trouble with my eye and y'all had to take me somewhere, he'd take me to the eye doctor. I had trouble with my foot, he'd take me to the foot doctor. I had trouble with my teeth, he'd take me to the dentist. Do you black folks understand when you go to a place called a beauty parlor that's sitting to convince you ugly? And just like I go to the eye doctor for my hair, you go to the beauty parlor for your beauty that God gave you. This is what I'm talking about, the mind. Okay? And go in the white neighborhood where them white women get their hair and see if it's called beauty. Okay? We're not even aware of it. We're not even aware of it. This is what I'm saying. The mind. When you unwind the mind. And the most vicious thing they did, not just the black folks, for a Christmas present. Like I said, I'm 81 years old. When I was born, I heard them talking about reefers and marijuana. But I knew it was illegal. I didn't know what it was. But I knew it was illegal. And then the next thing I heard them say, medical marijuana. Okay, so I guess you have to be sick. And then what they just pulled off in Denver, recreation marijuana. Huh? They don't put that. You can't walk past a prostitute's house and see the word recreation. Huh? That's where it's going. Huh? And they'll put all kind of stuff in the marijuana. Huh? They put all kind of stuff to make you have whatever kind of attitude they want you. This is where this is going. It ain't got nothing to do with money. There are billionaires who's hooked to drugs. It's a mindset. They children's hooked to drugs, huh? All my children went to black colleges and they got good jobs, huh? What I didn't know, so people kept saying, why you sending them to black colleges? All your children is getting scholarships. No, I want them to go to black colleges. Why? 100, if you wrote down 100 of world-renowned African-Americans, now you can't lie on that one. 100 world-renowned African-Americans, 98 of them is a product of black colleges. Okay? And so again, I'm saying we got all kinds of things to do, changing the mind, not laughing and hollering and being forceful. Black folks, poor folks, look for instant gratification, man. That's part of being poor. If I get cut, I got blood all over me, so don't tell me to clean up the grass. That's part of being oppressed. That's God, universal. So there must be something wrong. You see Brother Greg walk up on stage bleeding, you say, it must be something wrong. Even if I'm tricking you, even though I'm having fun, that's the symbol of horror. So when they pulled off September the 11th, America is a country that don't use a number as a month. Okay? They don't say 9. They say September the 11th, October the 12th. King was killed April the 4th. So how they get you to say a number? Because when you say 911, that tells the brain to be scared. If y'all walked in the house today and your mother, your father, or your daughter, son was on the phone, you say, who you calling? I just dialed 911. Look at what happens to you. That's where they are. They spend trillions of dollars understanding your brain and how it works. And then they just lay it out there. That's the game. Thank you, brother.
All right. And Greg, we're coming up on a break, but when we come back, we got to come out, text a question he wants. He says, please ask Dick Gregory before he leaves about Jesse Jackson's, and this is his words now, bizarre behavior on the day of Dr. King's assassination. And he says apparently Jesse was giving orders while he was in front of the TV cameras. He wants to know, was Jesse, quote unquote, the black leader that was created by J. Edgar Hoover's COINTELPRO? I'll let you respond to that on the other side. Folks, you too got a question for Dick Gregory, 800-450-7876, or you can text me like Kamal did. We'll get it to you at carlnelsonshow.com. We'll get your questions for Dick Gregory in about 2.5 minutes.
And now back to the Carl Nelson Show.
On Washington, D.C.'s
1450 WOL Radio.
Thank you for staying with us, folks. And you're on hold. We'll get to you with Dick Gregory. Again, the number to call is 800-450-7876. Greg, I'm going to let you respond to Kamal's question about Reverend Jesse Jackson and Dr. King's assassination.
Well, there's been a lot of stuff said, and they said that the airport opened up that night at midnight, and Jesse's plane was the only one that they let out, But the problem is, when I do the research, I see other things and other people and other things happening. And so if I was worried about it, I got enough stuff in the process of finding out. I know I taught Martin Luther King III, every black person that had something to do with killing his daddy. Okay? That's the stuff I could prove, the stuff I had information, stuff come out of and then you check that out to make sure they're not just lying. Okay? But what I would do, if I would ask Jesse to get on the show and ask him the question. He might have something to do and lie, but you hip enough to know that, Thank you.
Okay. 800-450-7876. Go to line 3. Darren's in Baltimore. Darren, you have a question for Dick Gregory.
God bless. God bless you, Baba. Thank you.
Peace to you. Thank you. Thank you for all your efforts and everything you're doing. Thank
you. And thank Brother Carl. If you can expound on or talk about Dr. King, as I've often heard you say, that most of the young people today were not alive when Dr. King was living. So if you can talk about
everybody alive in America today was not alive when King was assassinated. 70% of the people on the planet Earth was not alive when King was assassinated. That's why it's so easy for a country this rich and all the money and technology to trick, because every 10 years they come out with a new story. With Kennedy, we those of us that know, we know Kennedy. was killed. I know some stuff about what happened to Kennedy. If I told you, many of y'all would go to bed crazy. There's certain things you can't put out because there's certain minds that's not ready to accept it. You know, like I remember black folks would say, if God wanted you to fly, he'll put wings on you. Well, one day we might find out that flying, that speed, do something to the metabolism. They didn't understand. I used to hear black folks say, she's just grieving herself to death. You know how long it was where I realized grieving is a violation of God? You know, there's more people die in America every year from lung cancer, from grief, than smoking cigarettes. Okay? Sure. And so there's a whole lots of stuff out here. And so when you look at King and what they're able to do, but his strength broke through it. His strength broke through it. Here's a man that has a monument on the mall. And it wasn't no black person had the power to see that happen. What? You got young people coming through now, and they hear radio shows like this. They got books out there they can read, and the whole shift. And what, almost $300 million to put that statue on the mall. Why? Sure. Because they know one day King will be the hottest force in the history of the planet, and it's a tourist attraction. They'll come here to see that. Just like I got on a plane one time, 5 times, and went to India to see Gandhi's tomb. I didn't just fly through that. I stayed in hotels. I went to see other things. So no, it's they can't hide it no more, and they can't do it because there's something that hit this planet called the Indigo Children. Now, I'm not going to get into that today. That's a whole nother show.
Yes, sir. my other question is, one other person that shares a birthday this week with Dr. King, of course, is the great Muhammad Ali. Your thoughts and comments on him, and then my last question is, if, as you talked about the first black president in modern history with President Barack Obama, your thoughts and comments on one who I thought would probably be the first or recent fat president, and Governor Chris Christie up there in that whole controversy regarding the Bridgegate scandal, if you could speak on that. And I'll hang up if
that thug up there, he won't even finish his governor's term out. And they might kill him and make it look like suicide. You know, I've been a black man for 81 years. I've been conscious for part of that. And I've never, ever, 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 ever heard a black man call another black man a bully. Call them all kinds of names. When you hear white folk call a white man a bully, that's a code word for mafia, huh? Mm-hmm. Okay. And he look like a thug and he act like a thug. But let me just say this to you. Here's a man that the whole hype now is the bridge. But let me tell you what the bridge is. The George Washington Bridge is only 3 ways of getting into New York City, the most powerful, richest city in the history of the planet. If you're coming from Jersey or coming north on 95, there's 3 ways to get into the city. 1, 2 is the tunnel. Trucks can't go through the tunnel. There's a lot of cars and stuff, cargo that can't go through the tunnel. So about 79% of all cars going to New York every day and come back every night go over the bridge. Do you know what that did to commerce? If you go home tonight and there's a tree that fell in front of your house, you call the police. Sure. If there's a tree laying on the highway, you call the state troopers. How come nobody's asked state troopers questions? What is this about? You have just tied up the number 1 commercial artery in the world, and nobody knowing. Nobody calling the state trooper and say, wait a minute, ho. And then they make you believe it happened because they're trying to get even with a mayor who ain't got no power. No. And as this happened, all kind of stuff going to start coming out. The first black person in the history of New Jersey that was on the state Supreme Court, huh? When Christmas got in, he got rid of him, huh? Mm-hmm. Okay, and you got all these black folks around right there. Oh, he here. Okay. Wait till you find out the truth, huh? And so consequently, all the stuff he told a old 75-year-old woman who was part of the school teachers union, had some power. And then she's also a state senator. He said, I got a baseball bat for you. So next time you go in her office now, she got 2 baseball bats. One big one with her name on it and a little one with his name on it. This is over. Well, you be stupid enough to believe that you can shut down. Now, what I'm looking for to see if there's a mafia action. Did something have to be shut down? Now, let me tell you something. You got billionaire white businessmen. Their office is in New York, but they live in Jersey. Because Jersey, don't judge Jersey by Newark and Camden. Huge mansions, okay? Huge mansions. In they come over that bridge. They don't drive the chauffeur every morning to get to their office. You mean them billionaires who can call the White House when they get ready and nobody better not ask, what do you want? I want to talk to the president. This is so-and-so. You mean nobody called the state? All that money, all that power?
Right.
All them trucks lined up there on the highway and nobody called, and yet still the state police and all. It's bigger than what they telling us, and it's going to come out. And then Muhammad Ali, there was nobody on the planet with the glamour he had and the love he had. He was one of the kindest, nicest, most powerful human beings in the history of the planet. But when you looked at him outside that ring, you didn't know that. That's my brother, Muhammad Ali.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Thank you.
Thanks, Dan. Thanks for your call. And let me just say this, Greg, about Ali. Ali lived not around the corner, maybe a mile away from our radio station. He would call us. He would call and say, "Hey, I'm on my way. Stopping at how many people at the radio station?" I say about 21. I'm stopping at Burger King, and he would buy burgers and drinks and this is in the early '80s for the whole station.
Yeah, that's Ali.
And that was him. He would come by and just hang out. You know, after Stevie bought the station, it was like a hangout joint. People come by there and you've seen it, just to hang out. And he was one of those showing us his magic tricks all the time.
Oh, all day. Let me say, I was running from L.A. to New York, 50 miles a day for 71 days, okay, on nothing but liquid. Called Ali. Hey, man, I saw the how come you didn't ask me to go? Oh, you punk, you can't run. So he came out every time he wasn't at a fight or getting ready for a fight, he was there. So now the word got out. Ali. Now the crowd is out, the press is out. And so a friend of mine that was doing pure hurt her leg, so we carried her to a hospital. And the word got out, this Ali's down. Well, he wasn't. He was in Germany fighting. So a guy came down and he said, Mr. Gregory, would you come upstairs? My mother want to ask you something. And I go upstairs, and this old white woman, he says, I understand Mr. Ali with you. I said, yeah, he'll be back. He said, well, they just told me I got about 2 weeks to live from cancer, and it sure would make me feel good if you'd have Ali come by. I said, I'd take care of that. Now, by the time Ali got back, we're doing 50 miles a day, so we're about 250 miles away from that spot. And I told Ali, he said, come on, let's get in the car, let's go. We went there. We got there at 9 o'clock in the morning. He went up to that room and picked that old white woman up and kissed her. She said, you know who I am? I'm Muhammad Ali. Ain't I pretty? And 6 o'clock that evening, he was still there showing her jokes. That's Ali.
Wow. Yeah. All right, so we got to take a quick break. That's a great story. 800-450-7876. We're talking to Gregory in about 2.5 minutes.
And now back to the Carl Nelson Show on Washington, D.C.'s 1450 WOL Radio.
And thank you for staying with us and our guest, Gregory. And I tell you, he knows everybody. And Greg, I got a lot of stories on Ali, so maybe one day we'll get Rock Newman in here and talk about the champ. Because I know he's got a bunch of stories as well.
There's so many stories out there. I had a guy called me from London. I think I showed you the book. Guy called me from London, said, I'm so I own such and such a press, and Yoko Ono gave me some tapes and said, and we bought the right to do the book. And he said, and as we were reading through it, there's a question on the tape someone asked John Lennon, And how'd you get the idea to do Imagine? Now, I didn't know Imagine is the #1 selling record in the world every day. Did you know that?
Yeah, but I didn't know you had something to do with it.
Wait a minute. Listen, when the guy called me and said, I'm reading this here tape, and Ali was asking how did he do it. He said, well, it was Dick Gregory. Dick Gregory talked to me and told me some things to read. And what we like to do is fly to see you and tape a chapter. I said, I don't need that, man. Look. I don't even know what Imagine is. You know, had you not said it, I wouldn't have known it. And so that's it. So he did the book anyway, and at the tail end of it, he goes on and talk about the Dick Gregory, what he talked to me, and about talking about black teachers and black spirituality and all of that. And then my phone lit up when that book come out from London. Oh, we need you. Oh, man, I don't know nothing about that. Please leave me alone. But it's that, it's that happens when you out there and just giving. Why do I go into the black community? Why am I listed in the phone book? Why do I don't have no bodyguards and all of that? Black folks made me, okay? Not NBC or CBS or Jack Paul. Black folks came to the little raggedy nightclubs when I was making $5 a night, 3 nights a week, and listened to me before I was funny. And when they got through listening to me, I was one of the funny things that had ever lived in the history of the planet, and they pushed me all the way downtown where they couldn't afford to see me. There I was making $5 a night. Downtown I was making $25,000 a week. That's where I go back. Ain't got nothing to do with take them someplace to see Dick Gregory. Let's go out and let's do this and let's talk about this and let's talk about, and that's the life. And what this movement means to me, not Harvard, not Yale, not the money, what it means to me. Let me tell you, man, when I hit, I had a clause in all my contracts. Remember, TV wasn't that big, so most folks didn't advertise a nightclub, rock on TV. All my contracts had in it, if you bring me into your club, if you advertise in a white newspaper, if there's a Negro newspaper within a 100-mile radius, you don't have to advertise in that, or you forfeit my contract. I don't have to get no opinion from nobody. This is me. That's the way you give back to all them folks. Not that stuff Hollywood's going to show you. Not that stuff the news is going to show you. And so the great thing that came out of that movement for me is I had 357 Magnum, man, and my hero was John Wayne, man. John Wayne told me in the movie when I was 8 years old, I look at the screen, if you right and they wrong and they don't listen, kill them. Amen. And then King came through just the opposite. And did I ever think I'd be able to say tonight that I'd rather be killed by someone than kill someone? That's what the movement had. That's this one human being with a group of people that trusted him and watched him. When before there was a King holiday, okay, and it's the King grave. 3 million Japanese got on planes every year and flew in from Japan to go visit King's grave, huh? That's what and don't grave his greatness by the folks that's around you, okay? Right.
Greg, hang on a second. We got Winston holding for a while.
Okay.
We're in that town. I know he's got a question for you on line 4. Winston, you still with us in D.C.?
Hey, yeah, I'm waiting.
Brother Winston,
all right, make it quick.
Bless you.
Oh, bless you too, Dick. It just amazes me that you've been on the front line, laying your body down and giving your life up for all these folks, and I never hear nobody ask you who God is. Huh? Do you know God? And I know you know God, because I know God is here.
That's right. The word God means power. Did you know that? Huh?
I know it.
They call the mafia Godfather? Huh?
Say that again?
The word God ain't got nothing to do with spirituality. The word God means power.
Okay.
Don't they call the mob Godfather?
So Did you say something? The word God power? I can hardly.
No, he said, don't they call the mafia Godfather?
Don't they refer to the mafia as Godfather?
Yeah, they do.
All that means is power. If you and I was in London tonight and going to Buckingham Palace and the king and the queen is coming down the steps, we curtsy and say, me God, me Lord God. Lord is a lesser power, God is the big power. Queen Elizabeth ain't about to be no God, huh? And so when we sit and look at the stuff, look, I grew up, and my mother, I used to always hear say, rich folk got as much chance getting to heaven as a camel had getting through the eye of a needle. You ever heard that?
You know, Dick, I'm trying to hear you, but you sound a little...
I feel like, Winston, hang up and just listen, because we can hear fine. We can hear both of you guys fine, so it must be on your end. But go ahead, Greg. Did you respond to him? Greg, you still there?
Got as much chance getting into heaven as a camel had getting through the eye of a needle. And that didn't sound right to me. It didn't sound right to me at all. And then one day I realized when you go through these old Arabian cities, that little arc, as you let you know you're leaving one city going into another, that's called a needle's eye. Now it becomes beautiful. That's a needle's eye, which means a rich man got as much chance getting into heaven as a camel had getting through eye of a needle. And all that means is the more the load you got on the camel, the more the camel got to stoop. And when you start looking at the thing, it means altogether different, something different. Now, there are some things I've read in the Bible that I don't go along with, okay? And I didn't go along with it before I had a father. But some God going to tell me to prove to you I love you. You take your sharp knife and take your son to the top of the mountain and kill him and make a, come on, God, please. Now, you believe anything you want, I don't care. But I don't believe there is a God with a humanity. Okay? I got 10 children, 7 girls. If I was jealous of them, I'm doing something wrong. So don't tell me I'm a jealous God. Fear me. Fear me. Fear will run you crazy. So there's a God that with all the power it wants to be feared by you. No. And so you say you never hear me talk about God. Every time I say something, I say I am. That's the name of the living God. Now let me break this down real quick. 2 billion years ago, the dinosaurs left this planet. 2 billion. And I say this all the time. That was for the Catholic Church. That was for Christianity. That was for Jesus. That was for organize any religion. Okay? So 2 billion years ago when the dinosaurs was here, who put them together? It sure wasn't the Catholic Church. It wasn't Jesus. Who put them together? Okay? That same universal I am that put the stars in the sky. Huh? Put the moon and the sun up there. And created the whole universe. Huh? The same universe that made the Germans, made the Jews. The same universe that made the slave master. You know, be careful. Now, I say this to you, that when you stop and think, right now in China, there's a book out called Chaos. It's about the butterfly syndrome. Butterflies at that butterfly park in Peking, flapping their wings right now, determine what the weather pattern's going to be like in New York City 9 months later. Why am I going to tell you? Because if they told you white supremacy would go out the window, if they told you unidentified objects, you know, they told you we see if they go out the window, organized religion would go out the window. Huh? We would become earthlings. It wouldn't be no Chicago or Cleveland. We'd be earth people. And so again, I get up in the morning at 4 o'clock and go out and pray and meditate. Huh? You know, look, if most folks who've been traveling a lot and see a prostitute, they can recognize a